Hey guys, your old pal Hdmi here. Now in the past I've been doing a lot of gaming reviews and you guys seem to like them. But what you're really here for, from what I've seen, is my product reviews. I know in the past I've reviewed products like the Logitech K800 keyboard, I've reviewed the Moga Pro gaming controller, and then I went and reviewed the Sega Genesis Flashback Portable, which really did well. You guys seem to really like that. So what I did, I got a special treat for you guys today. I went out and I got the Sega Genesis Flashback HD. I need a bigger table. This box is huge. There we go. Let's put it back here. See? HD. Now, of course, some of the things that caught me right off the bat, if you look down here at the bottom, wireless controllers, HD output, of course it's HD. You can save, resume, and rewind games, and the biggest one, it has a cartridge slot. So you can play all your other Genesis games. If you got some old Genesis titles laying around and your old system doesn't work anymore, you can actually pick up one of these for about between $60 and $70, which I think is really good for something like this. So let's go ahead and get this guy open here real quick. Go ahead and get out the old trusty knife here. And yes, I waited to get home to actually do this one for you guys. I'll have the tape on and everything. This will be an unboxing. So right off the bat, you can actually see the system and my number one pet peeve, instructions. You know I do not like instructions. So I'm going to go to the core system here, and this thing is really light. I'm going to go ahead and set this box aside here real quick. This thing is really light. I mean, it's not nowhere near as heavy as I thought it would be, but it looks nice. It feels good. It doesn't really feel too cheap. It does feel a little bit cheap. Let's see here. You got your HDMI port, then your AC adapter in the back. Controller ports. Now, if you have your old Sega Genesis controllers, they will work with this system, which I think is really, really cool. And then you got your on and off button, you got your menu button for when you want to go back to the main menu, because there are 85 built-in games on this system. So we're going to go ahead and put this aside. Let's have a look at these wireless controllers. These things, they feel just a little bit cheap. They feel really plasticky, really light, very small too. Buttons are nice and clicky though, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a chance. And there's even a switch here. You can switch between player 2 and player 1, so you don't get too confused. A rewind button, which is kind of new, so that way if you make a mistake in a game, oops, rewind. Kind of like a save state if you've ever used an emulator or a ROM or anything like that. You got your menu and start buttons here. So that's pretty cool. The system also comes packaged with an HDMI cable, which is really nice. It seems to be a really good length HDMI cable, which I think is really cool to have. And then, of course, you can't play a console without power, right? So, here's your power adapter. Pretty simple here. So yeah, there it is. We're going to go ahead and hook this guy up, and we're going to see how the games work on it. I don't like how light this is, but I guess, I don't know. I mean, for a third party, I think it looks really good. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. The system outputs video in HD, like the packaging says, but it's limited to 720p, which is just fine considering that the system plays games that were made in the late 80s to early 90s. Of course, there are some Master System games in here, like Alex Kidd and Miracle World. Given that the original Genesis was based off the old Master System hardware, this game made the port very easily to the Sega Genesis Flashback HD and plays very well. I tried a few other games to get a good feel for the system, and a lot of them were redone very well and look absolutely amazing. There are some exceptions like Assault City, which was made with the Master System's light gun in mind. Now the Sega Genesis Flashback HD system does not include a light gun, so this game is controlled by moving the cursor with the directional pad and using the A button to fire. It's not bad, but it's certainly not great either. Other games like Comic Zone, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Golden Axe run great on this system. I especially remember Comic Zone having a lot of sound issues on the Flashback portable system I reviewed, but I don't see any of that here. The games were really well ported over. The same also goes for the few Game Gear titles the system has. When you open a game, you get a Game Gear themed border around the game window, much like the old school Super Game Boy add-on for the SNES. The games I tried made the port really well, but I did have some trouble with the Genesis controller on them, probably because the Game Gear controls were a bit different from what I remember. All in all, I really like the Sega Genesis Flashback HD. The controllers felt light and cheap, but with the AAA batteries in them, it's hardly noticeable. Of course, if you're able to get a hold of some old school Genesis controllers, you can plug them into the ports in front of the system. And let's not forget that cartridge slot. Do you see that on the NES or SNES Classic? Nope. It's like they said in the old commercials. You can't do this on Nintendo. The system itself is really well made, and it replicates the old school feel very well, even if it's a bit light. Of course, the menu does take some time to get used to, but all in all, not bad. I give the Sega Genesis Flashback HD a 10 out of 10. Thanks for watching this review. Please feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Until next time, this is your old pal Jotaro Shima. Peace out.